So what is a circadian rhythm? You may have heard the term before and associated it with something like sleep, but in this video we're going to give you a really good understanding of what a circadian rhythm is, as well as the various ones that run throughout your body. We're also going to end this video with showing you why a circadian rhythm is so important and how you can set them in order to optimize your health and performance. What's up guys, it's Nick Kutsia here and welcome to the Mitochondria YouTube channel. On this channel you're going to find content all around light, circadian rhythms, and how you can optimize these things in order to live your best life. If you want to make sure that you get notified as soon as we release future content, then make sure that you hit both the subscribe and the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our future content. Now, for today's video, we're actually going to cover a very basic or fundamental understanding of what a circadian rhythm is. We will dive into this, in a bit more detail in future videos, but today's one is going to be fundamental to understanding all of those and giving you a really good overview of, what circadian rhythms are and why they are so important. So to start, a circadian rhythm is the natural cycle of physical, mental, and behavioral changes that the body goes through in a 24-hour cycle. So the most common circadian rhythm is your sleep-wake cycle, and the time that this will be the most apparent is if you've ever experienced jet lag and you've moved to a new location, then you'll find that your sleep-wake cycle is off. You'll feel tired during the day, or you'll struggle to sleep at night. And that is because that specific rhythm is not in alignment with your environment. Now that's obviously an extreme case and something that is quite profound, but this can also be on a day-to-day basis, even if you don't travel. If you're finding that you are slightly tired or groggy during the daytime or at nighttime, that you really can't get into a really good quality of sleep, or you're struggling to get to sleep, staying wide awake, then it's very likely that your circadian rhythm, your sleep-wake cycle rhythm, is off for some specific reason. Now that isn't the only circadian rhythm. We also have other rhythms that go throughout the day. Things like our body temperature. A lot of hormones will follow these rhythms. Our appetite is another one that follows these 24-hour cycles. Now, the reason why these are so important and getting them all in alignment is because you don't want your body to be doing every single process at the same time. There's an optimal time of day where you should be focusing on muscle recovery, or when you're, you should be digesting food. All of these different processes throughout the body, if your body was trying to do them all at the same time, you would get suboptimal results. It's almost like if you could think of a set of traffic lights and you've got this intersection and all the cars, want to get through this intersection, but if every single light was green at the same time, you would have a whole bunch of accidents and it wouldn't lead to an optimal function or optimal flow of traffic in that area. So your circadian rhythms basically line themselves up so that at the right time, one set of cars can go this way. That could be muscle recovery is now optimized in a certain time of day. And then at another time, your sleep quality is going to be optimized. All the processes that should happen when you're asleep happen at that time. So having your circadian rhythms all in alignment means that your body functions like in a harmonious way. And all these processes get their designated time and they do their function in the best way possible for your health and your performance. Now you may be wondering, how do I set my circadian rhythm? Obviously there's these various different rhythms. How do I make sure that they are all in alignment? So the most important aspect for setting your circadian rhythm is setting the master clock, which is in your brain. So behind your eyes, there's something called your suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, and this is basically the master regulator of your circadian rhythms. Now, this is set primarily by your light environment, because your light environment is such a consistent cue, or used to be in nature, would be such a consistent cue for when is it daytime? Well, when we have light going through our eyes. When is it nighttime? Well, when it's extremely dark. So your light environment is a very important factor for setting this master clock. Now, that is not the only way or not the only aspect of setting your circadian rhythm, because within each and every one of your cells, you have what's called a clock gene. So you can think of this almost like an orchestra, where your master clock is like the person in the front, the orchestrator, who is setting the tone for the whole symphony, and then your cells all have their own little clock genes within them, and these need to be set in their own way, and that's almost like the people playing the instruments. So to get this beautiful symphony between everyone, one, you want to make sure that your master clock is set correctly by your light environment, and then all your other, the clock genes are then set by other factors, and these are things such as meal timing, as well as your body temperature. Now, we'll probably do future videos where I'll dive into those two aspects a bit more, but just to let you know, when you eat food and your stomach stretches, that is quite a strong factor in setting your peripheral clocks, and those are the ones, outside of this master clock. And one of the best ways to do this is by making sure that you eat your largest meals, or you front load your calories towards the start of the day. So if you start eating your food, really late at night, even after sunset, that actually wreaks havoc with your circadian rhythm, because now what's going to happen is you're going to be digesting food at nighttime, when sleep should be a time when you're actually focusing on other functions, such as one very important one is washing out cerebrospinal fluid through your brain. And that helps to clear, toxins and just a buildup of metabolites from the day that you've just had. Obviously, you've been thinking a lot, and that, burns a lot of energy and releases a lot of metabolites. So at nighttime, a very important process that should happen while you're sleeping is your cerebrospinal fluid will wash out, these metabolites within your brain and set you up for the next day. Now, just to come back to that example, if you've eaten a really large meal at nighttime, that is going to interfere with this process, and now it's like having two green lights going, and the intersection is now a bit dangerous because you have two processes that shouldn't be going at the same time. The other one is your body temperature, and what you should find is that your body temperature should rise throughout the day and peak, in the late afternoon, and then at nighttime it should decrease, and then that'll obviously lead to your high quality of sleep. So a great way to make sure that you are, increasing your body temperature throughout the day is to keep yourself physically active. And that doesn't necessarily mean, one really hard gym session. That could mean, if you're sitting at your desk for 30, 45 minutes, making sure that you get up and go for a walk and just keep yourself overall active throughout the day is another great way to set, your peripheral clocks, by ensuring that you have this higher core body temperature throughout the day. And then at nighttime, if you can make sure that your room is cool, that could be through a fan, or just making sure that you're not using too much blankets, then that's also a really great way. And why you might have experienced that when you're a little bit cold at night, you actually get better sleep quality, is because you're now creating this gradient between daytime with a higher body temperature, and then at nighttime where you've got a lower body temperature, and creating that contrast. Guys, I know we've covered a lot in this video, and I will do future videos, diving into some of these specifics. I wasn't actually going to jump too much into those. That wasn't the plan, but I know I've covered quite a bit here. If you have any questions, then please feel free to drop them in the comment section below, and we can carry on the conversation there. Otherwise, I hope that you have a fantastic day further, and we will chat again soon. Cheers.